My Country Y107 and online at Y107FM.com. And good morning, JR here with you on this Thursday. Joined once again by the good ladies from SALT Counseling in Greenbrier. Kim, Marissa, good to have you all this morning.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you back here. And, we were talking the other day, lots of things going on this month of October, but something that's particularly of import is the Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And when you start talking about the numbers and the people who are affected by this, it's a little intimidating sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's first important for us to recognize what is domestic violence before we go into the statistics and how prominent it is. So domestic violence is anything that deals with willful intimidation, physical assault, battery, sexual assault, and or other abusive behavior that shows a pattern of power or control. That's really the premise of what domestic violence is.
Okay. It can go both male-female, female-male, male-male. It is something that everybody can experience from anybody, really.
That's right, because domestic violence really, truly does not discriminate.
When you start looking at those numbers, you start seeing the number of people that are affected on an annual basis and a local basis. Those kind of numbers really become kind of scary.
Yeah, definitely. In Arkansas alone, we have the 5th highest rate of rape in the United States.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a sad tale for one thing. So when you start looking at the numbers and you start talking about things, there was some very surprising information that came to my eyes when we were looking at this about men and women in those numbers.
Yeah, so 1 in 3 women experience some type of physical violence by an intimate partner, but 1 in 4 men experience that as well.
And that's a surprising number.
25%.
And it can be in many different ways when you start talking about the violence and the manipulation and so forth, right?
That's right, because domestic violence, we automatically go to physical assault, sexual assault, and the emphasis being on a female victim. But manipulation and being in a family where maybe that's a generational thing. So men are caught up in that cycle too.
So what is it that, with regards to what SALT Counseling, how are you guys helping people in these domestic violence situations? What is it that you want to offer them?
Well, for me, I really like to focus on, number one, assessing the situation and looking at risk. And if this person is in a situation where they need immediate help, then we connect them with the resources that they need to be able to get out of the situation, because that is probably one of the biggest things is fear of what is going to happen if I leave. So we really try to, number one, assess the risk, get them the appropriate resources. And if it's a situation where they don't necessarily need to leave, maybe they're dealing with some of the emotional abuse like I mentioned previously, then we work with them on setting boundaries and communication, and we can bring in the family members to address it as a whole versus as just one individual.
Changing the status quo, to me, that seems like a good phrase or kind of an overview. Change what's happening doesn't necessarily mean removing yourself always from a situation, but just changing the pattern and the effects that are happening in the area.
Yes, a lot of families, a lot of individuals don't even realize they're in a relationship or a situation where domestic violence is occurring.
So when we look at what you guys are able to do, how do you want to encourage people to get in touch with you or to get in touch with someone that can help them cross this path? I know that there are local emergency organizations that are available, like the Conway Women's Shelter and so forth. What are some of the other means, and how do we get in contact with you to make that progress?
So the first thing I would do is definitely find someone you trust. If you don't have an avenue out, find someone you can trust to talk about it with. Would be my first recommendation.
Absolutely. And then, you can always reach us at the clinic. If it's a situation that you feel like you just need to talk to somebody right then, you don't have a family member or any support system, you can always call the National Domestic Violence Hotline, and that's 1-800-799-SAFE. So other than that, just reaching out in general, whether it's through the internet or through the phone, or like Marissa said, reaching out to a family member, hopefully they'll be able to connect them with the right person, the right resource.
At SALT Counseling, again, you'll find you guys online at saltcounselingclinic.com, and you can find more information there. What's the telephone number where we can call you to talk about maybe working through some things?
501-557-6785.
Now, we also have a new feature on our My Country Y107 website, and you can go there and you'll hit the SALT Counseling tab right there on the front on the little newsreel, and that'll take you to a little place where you can email question, something that I'm not sure if this is this, or I'm dealing with this, I'm kind of not sure what. If you're just looking for some of that, don't want to necessarily physically talk to somebody right now, but just want to start knocking on the door, I think this is a good way where we can start maybe helping answer some of these questions in a broader scope.
Absolutely. Even if it's for a friend. Sometimes you get a situation of, I know a person who is going through this.
Absolutely. So reach out to theirs at y107fm.com, and it's the SALT counseling tab right there. Hit that. That'll take you to a real short opportunity to touch base, and we can start that conversation. And I think that's the other thing we want to encourage people to do, is to keep the conversation alive. I mean, with the things that are going on in the news, there's a lot of things that are happening that may be encouraging some people, may be discouraging others. But really, when you look at your situation, you need to look at it and say, I've got to keep the conversation going.
That's right.
Thank you so much, ladies. It's Kim and Marissa right here with SALT Counseling on My Country Y107.